Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It is the 23rd of December, and I am joined once again by my man, your man, the Big Sib, Brandon. What's up, brother?
Hey guys, hey Richie, thank you for having me on again. Let me catch this. There we go. I got it. Pause
Nice.
it.
No, well, it was on my side. I think I didn't hit the pause quick enough. But at any rate, we got a lot of people in the chat. I'm just going to say what's up to a few people real quick. How's the sync? Is my mouth moving wrong?
Nope, you're good. I reset my computer today and I took off about 200 gigabytes of data off my computer. So hopefully, but I don't know if you noticed on my last video I uploaded on my channel, the audio and video was off. So something to do with my computer.
Well, we'll figure it out. No worries. All right. We got Roasted Scorpion, Michigan Watch, Dr. Nick, Allie from Cali, Scott Robinson. Adolph was right. That's not nice, but I hear you. Pie Lover. He was Times Man of the Year. You are being sprayed. Tinfoil Timothy University. Nice. Loyal to the foil. Third Eye Trader. And everyone else. I'll try to remember at the end to say what's up to you. At any rate, on your side.
Yeah, let's get Cognitive Dissonance, Rev 1611, No Spin Bear, Hondurosa, Rusty Scott, Chad Hopkins. Hey guys, hey W White, Joshua Hopkins, Cynthia, Moto Beats, Kim. Hey, I got Candace K, Jerzak. Hey fellas, Mr. Mark. Y'all know I'm gonna quit looking at the chat now as we get to talking. So just understand that it's not a rub against y'all. I gotta stay focused.
All right. Yeah. Stay focused, man.
I try to.
Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do.
Catch me, and I'm doing like that. I can't help it. But
information. You're an information junkie, so it works to our advantage. There's the upside and the downside. Infantry, brother. 11 Bravo. Nice.
Oh, prayer. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that prayer to start this off real quick.
Hey, Heavenly Father, we come unto you tonight, seeking guidance towards wisdom and towards knowledge, and then understanding. Protect us from all the fiery darts of the wicked, and keep us safe in your arms. In your precious Son's name, we pray. Let your word not return to thee void, but let it accomplish that which you please and prosper in the thing where you sent it. In your precious Son's name, we pray. All right, guys, let's get this thing going. Hey, so Richie, we're talking about a few topics.
Stand by. Let me ask you this one thing right now, because I know a bunch of people on the other side listening just said, I don't say amen.
Me neither.
Amen. I mean, it's another Vatican trick. Am I wrong?
Well, what my problem with is just like I spoke yesterday. Well, there's a duality of words, right? So amen for me right there tells you it's an amen, and then of course Amun Ra. So the Father knows the intent of my heart, and I've learned enough about language to go ahead and remove that part of it, because I don't want to be talking to any man. I'm not talking to a man. I'm talking to something higher than man.
Right. And here's what put the nail in it for me, because when I watched the Vatican do that Lucifer, they were singing to Lucifer. Remember that? Oh, Lucifer.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really, really adamant that as many people watch this live as possible. So there's a great big occult ritual going on. They're praising Lucifer in the Vatican. I mean, when are people going to wake up? But they stressed Amen so much that I thought this has to be wrong, because everybody's been over the years. They're like, dude, it's just another lesser G God, etc. Blah blah blah. But at any rate, all right, let me show this real quick, and maybe I think this is what I wanted you to bring up that I already forgot, which is pathetic, but it is what it is. This right here, Thessalonians. We talked about this a little bit the other night when we talked about what's her name, J.K. Tolkien, whatever the lady's name is,
Rowling.
the lady Rowling, yeah. King James Version, for when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon us, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Everyone pretty much knows that, or should know that. If you didn't, you do now. But I bring this up because we glossed over that lady the other day. This one right here. because her tweet that got her in so much trouble that's still going on right now. It's still, they're making a big movie out of it. There's people demonstrating and blah, blah, blah. And this is all she said. Dress however you please. Call yourself what you like. Sleep with any consenting adult who'll have you. Live your best life in peace and security. Now, people are going to say, Richie, that's a stretch. She wasn't talking about any. Well, think about that. What I just showed you doesn't actually make any sense. Why would she say that? I find that to be really strange. Sleep with anybody, live your best life in peace and security. And then down here, there's 2 hashtags. One says, I stand with Maya. I don't even know who that is. And the other one says, this is not a drill. That combined with that caught my attention. And then today, this popped up in my news feed, and I couldn't help but notice the last day of Saturnalia is the 25th. And this pops up, if I can find it, right here. And it's China attacking the U.S. Space Force as a threat. This is at the Air Force Times, but it's everywhere. Now, China and the U.S. both know that the Space Force is totally, completely, and 100% fraudulent. But I find it strange that China would say it's a direct threat to our outer space peace and security. Now, that's 2 big news stories in a row that's using the same terminology. I don't see China saying things like peace and security. So that's there for a reason. And you kind of told me what you thought about that. You want to tell these guys?
Yeah, well, so what happens here? Well, first off, you have to understand what peace and security means. I've showed this court case before, and this judgment, but it goes like this: you give up your rights for a little bit of peace and security from the government. So the rights inherent, unalienable, unable to put a lien on, come from the Father. When you say "protect me, government," you actually trade with them your lowercase s sovereignty. And what happened? Let me see if I can get back on that thread of thought. So you want to go into the levels of
whatever you think, man.
Yeah, let's do that. So what happens is when you trade that in, it lowers you as on the level. It lowers you down. So there's what's called the chain of command. We are made in the image of the Father, and He gave us dominion over the earth. Okay, so when you've been given dominion, what happens is below that is dogs, animals, everything else. So what happens is when you submit your will to a man.
That's what I wanted you to talk about. Beautiful.
So when you submit your will to a man, what happens is you lower yourself on the level, and now you've submitted. So what this is, it lowers you to a different class of being. And what happens is that's why the Jews call us goyim, which are dogs, and of course from Rome, you were slaves. So you've lowered yourself to a different class of being by applying for that peace and security, and that's why the sudden destruction cometh. It is the systems of men built around us that cause all the chaos. They cause all the turmoil, and both sides work the Hegelian dialectic. Now, we know Solomon Adler, just to go off on a little tangent here about how Mao Zedong was financed and funded through Israel and the United States. We built every single communist dictatorship in the world, that's from the Bolshevik Revolution to Cuba. I don't care, from South Vietnam, North Vietnam, North Korea, wherever there's communist dictatorship, we put them in place. We put Mao Zedong in place over there. So we build this puppet up, and then we go back and forth with the Hegelian dialectic for peace and security. Well, now, folks, we got to take it even further outside in the land of illusion and say it's for the Space Force to keep the Space Force safe and everything else. And when they say peace and security, it's for you to go begging for them to protect you, because that is the consent.
Got you. I got you. All right. The thing is, both of these fell in my lap in a strange way. And for both of them, it just freaked me. The last day of Saturnalia, I'm watching, I'm doing what I'm doing, but I've had a camera pointing up at the sky for the last 3 days. I was telling you that before we went live. It's amazing how much they're spraying. But the one thing I did notice is as soon as the sun does go down, they stop spraying entirely. I was out there freezing my butt off the other night, just looking for a plane, and there was none. They just stopped magically. And then I find a newspaper, or one of my subscribers sent me a newspaper article or whatever it's called, website. And after all the slow disclosure about chemtrails, we're not spraying chemtrails, but we're going to start. But we haven't been doing it, but we're going to start. They're just slowly, the sheep are getting used to it. It's all good. Well, the U.S. government's finally come out and said they're going to start financing solar remediation or blocking the sun. So I told you before we hit the button that we get sun maybe 2 hours every 4 weeks. Other than that, it's gray out. And I cannot believe that nobody else sees this. But my point being is if it's that bad now that the government's going to come out and say, yeah, we're going to take your taxpayer money and block the sun for you. How bad's it going to get? We're never going to see the sun. We're never going to see the moon anymore. They're going to completely block it. I mean, this is insanity, dude.
Well, yeah, but
when I were also talking about it's probably going to work perfectly with the 5G. 5G is pretty much ready to rock.
Well, yeah, it is. Well, it's here. It's live in Baton Rouge and it's live in New Orleans, the two places I go. But also, see, this is how that dialectic plays out. They've allowed us to argue about the geoengineering for about 10, 15, 20 years now, back and forth, trying to spread the truth. And what happens, let me show you how the masses' minds work. They can't see right now in front of them how it affects them. They don't see that. The only thing they notice or understand is either instant gratification or instant results or instant pain. They don't see long-term effects. So what has happened over the last 10, 15 years, while people have tried to show the health effects and everything else, it also has served as a desensitizing process. So now they know, they have done their beta test. They know enough people just don't care. They just don't look up. They don't understand the dangers of lithium, barium, and strontium. And so they go, okay, well, now we're going live with it. And it's just how it works all the time.
It's crazy. It's so crazy that people would think people should. We haven't been doing this, and all those people are insane. But now we're going to do exactly what all those insane people said out in the open. And it's going to look like, well, it's not going to look any different. It's going to look just like we've always been doing. It just blows me away.
Yeah.
It blows me away. And I know myself, and I don't know how many people in the chat, and maybe even you have to stop and think sometimes, why us?
Right.
Why do we see this while everyone else is just going along? Everyone's getting their everyone's running themselves ragged for 1 hour on the 25th for a completely fraudulent reason. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, we have to do this too. And remember, we always have compassion for those that are still lost, but that what their whole life is built around this supposed season that is designed for everybody to be happy and make everybody happy. So inside that paradigm, in that line of thinking, their entire year has worked towards this culmination of this fact where they get to be happy for a little while and they get to spread a little joy. They have no idea about the revelry, the traditions, or what it really means. And so because of that, they protect themselves. That's what cognitive dissonance does. It protects the mind from outside influences to take what you think is your joy and everything else. And so you come at them about this day and talk to them about the truth. Well, you're trying to ruin the one thing that they enjoy. So it's a very sensitive subject, but it must be presented. It must be talked about. We can't dance around and tell people lies. The truth is the most offensive thing on earth, folks, to those living a lie. That's just a hardcore truth.
Something that you just said too, I'm surprised I didn't interrupt you to say it, but I remembered it. So you're saying that the masses, for the most part, they're running around instant gratification, instant pain. That's the funny thing, because when 5G is in full effect, when 5G is a worldwide up and running system, it will be. We were just talking about this before we went live. You do something they don't like, everyone's going to understand what a targeted individual was. Targeted individual wasn't random, or it wasn't just some natural thing. It was targeting certain people that were pissing them off, seeing what the effects were.
Yes.
You know what I mean? 5G, the people that work in this field, the people that design things like this, the people that have been trying to expose this are saying that. They're like, that's why they're putting up all the LEDs, breaking apart the LED lights and showing there's extra components in there. It isn't just for LED lighting. LED is so simplistic. It's amazing. They've got transformers and all these other crazy things and enormous power lines going to them. So it's a dead giveaway.
Well, if you pay attention, for here, I've watched here, and I live out in the country. You'll see whenever you do come, what they have been doing for the last 3 or 4 months is clearing the power line pathways, about 25 to 30 foot on both sides of the road, heavily wooded areas here, and clearing both sides. And I know what this is for. They are clearing the path for the 5G technology, and they're doing it because it's already live. 45 miles, 50 miles away this way and 50 miles that way. It's already live. And, it's amazing. But listen, it's like Yuri Bezmenov said, until they feel that kick in the butt, the masses won't wake up.
It's going to be worse than that, man. It's going to be worse than a kick in the butt. They're going to wish they had heard this, but at any rate. All right. So we already had her up here. Let's take a look at this. You asked me to pull this up, so I did. I wasn't exactly sure what on this was. I go to this website all the time. I use this in videos all the time. The Vigilant Citizen. You told me to bring this up, right?
Oh yeah. Well, scroll down. We had it in the. I don't know. It might be a few days old now.
That's all right.
That's what I found on there was that that temple that's set up at the Illinois church. Oh, come on, Brandon. The knowledge is the greatest gift. The Satanic Temple put it up at the Illinois Capitol. I thought maybe it was still up there. It may have been a few days old or a week old. I don't even see it. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see it now. But that's where I got the pictures from. Let's see.
I'm not seeing it. At any rate, we can come back to it at another time. That's no big deal. But this is a really good source of information, just so you can understand. Like, most people don't even realize that he's got a page on there called Sinister Sites, and it shows all the creepiest Illuminati buildings all over the place. And one of the number one creepiest buildings, in my opinion, is the IRS building in Maryland.
Oh yeah.
There's a pyramid. There's the 13 black and white stripes. There's a hand pointing to the other hand like this. It's flagrant. It's totally flagrant. And hey, nothing to see here. You're just a nutter, a tinfoil hat wearer. So
yeah, and what I do is when I go there, I do read his takes on it. The only thing that I would say that he misses out on is how the alchemical method and how that plays out in how you break down and decode a lot of these pictures, because you'll find it in most of them. But still a great site. I love it. I go there. That's one of the few places that I actually go check articles on. It's very few left that I go check.
Same. I've spoken to this fella before. I don't know if you've seen this website, but the Illuminati Watcher, he does a lot of books and stuff.
Isaac Weishaupt, huh? Yeah, that's him. Okay.
That's his name, yeah. That's his screen name, but he's got a good thing up here on Saturnalia. But let's start with the links that you sent. That way we can break them down. Stand by. I'm doing a lot on this side over here. I'm very busy. That's why I'm staring at the screen. I look like a wacko. Whatever. All right. So this is the Rosalind Chapel. This is the Green Man, which somebody took a lot of time, energy, and effort to carve. I mean, look at that, dude. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane.
And you can find the Green Man with two faces as Janus, right? The two-faced hypocrite. But what you're looking at there is your depiction for your wreath that goes on your door. That is the Evergreen Man, and it's another depiction of Nimrod with the horns. Of course, you see the horns coming in front of his face.
And Cernunnos, correct?
That's right. That's right.
All right.
They all tie back into one another. You've got different. What happens with the pantheons is the Greeks had their interpretation, the Romans had theirs, the Persians had theirs, but it was all really the same pantheon, and they merge all together. If you trace them back far enough, you get to the same root source. They love the changing of the names and everything else. But we're looking at the same depiction here, the Green Man. So remember, this is duality world. This is the reversal of roles. This would mean that the queen of heaven, and of course the father would be of nature. This is duality world. They flip the roles of how it really is supposed to be, and now you've got Nimrod / the hunter of souls, Saturn, and the green man, the evergreen man, which would be come on, Brandon, Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1-5. This is why you put the Christmas tree inside your house with the lights. That's the phallus inside, and of course the lights representing fertility. All these things go together hand in hand. But yeah, that's why the green man's there.
That's crazy, man. That is totally crazy. I didn't know that had any tie into the wreath, but Americans love them some wreath big time. So there's that. I pulled this up as well, and this just explains the timing. This is actually Encyclopedia Britannica, and they don't seem to have crushed it as much as Wikipedia and stuff that you'd find in America. You know what I mean? Well, you were talking about the dates the other day. Originally celebrated on December 17th, but it runs right up 7 days, so it runs right up to the 25th, which makes perfect sense to me.
You want to see synchronicity and syncretism in play?
Have at it.
All right, you pull up Encyclopedia Britannica. Before I come on, I was breaking down the word encyclopedia. Encyclios, pieta, foreshadowing. It is encycle, the cycle of course of instruction. That's that circle that they put you in, where they don't actually teach you the arts and the sciences and the liberal. It's the circle, and they control that destiny of your education, and that is how they keep you trapped inside the encycle. So that's the encyclopedia.
Before we went live.
Yeah, really, that's amazing. That's one of those deals where you don't ever discount syncretism and how it comes into your life. That's why we were talking about it, and you already had it up. I love it.
Nice. Well, it just gives you a good idea that we're on the right page. No pun intended. Well, Lisa, the links will be posted in the comments after the live stream's over, as they always are. I don't know who's spamming the thing. It's going to happen. What are you going to do? I can't get distracted with that. Mods, if someone starts effing around or they start swearing, bounce them. Just throw them out. I don't care. It's all good. One of the subscribers left a comment. I don't know if you got a chance to see it or not, but can we break this down, Saturnalia, what it is enough so that somebody could show it to their family so they would actually understand what it is we're talking about, how we're not just trying to ruin the holidays, etc. Because you've gone through this, right? I mean, this is flagrant pagan worship, and it's not just some pagan, some random pagan idol. This is an entire week worth of debauchery, murder,
gambling,
gay sex, pedophilia. I mean, just everything really bad. This is exactly what it is. And somehow, back in the late 1800s, somebody wrapped it around the birth of Christ and ran with it. I'm almost positive the birth of Christ was going to be in September 11th because so many terrible things have happened on that exact date.
Yeah.
Completely wrong, I don't know.
Well, and Saturnalia was the revelry, right? It was the so let's break this down for all us law learners and understandings of this. When you got to change the role, it was the time for the master to switch roles with the slave. Everybody put their mask on for a week. We'll see this in the modern day depiction is the movie series. Come on now, The Purge. The Purge. Okay, that is a depiction of Saturnalia. So you get to put the mask on. There's no crimes or fees. Everybody gets to do it whatever they want, and the roles are reversed. And what it does, the master becomes the place of the slave. That's where the Tiny Tim motive comes from. Where for that month he would pay the poor's rent and stuff like that. But yeah, it was an overall debauchery, and of course this correlates. Come on, Brandon, get this right. So it correlates with the death of the sun. Okay, so from the winter solstice And 3 days going into December 25th is the rebirth of the sun. That would be Apollo, Sol, Invictus, and all your other sun gods. So what you had was the revelry leading up to the death of the sun. This is Saturnalia. Saturn's another depiction of Nimrod, by the way. This is the hunter of souls. That's what the mighty great hunter in Genesis is talking about. He's not talking about going to hunt a deer. He's talking about the hunter of souls, bringing it into the city, nation, state, and making everybody citizens. But anyway, we'll get on that tangent another day. But that's what Saturnalia was really about. If you can pull up that one meme that's on the vintage news and scroll down a little bit.
Okay.
It's going to be the third picture on there. Let's look at that, and I want to decode that particular picture.
Say it again.
When you go to vintage news, pull that one back up.
Vintage news.
You had it up just a second ago.
Vintage news. Which one's on it?
The Romans had a festival where the rolls of
I got you. Yeah, my face is incredibly red because I was outside all day and it was rather windy, but the sun was out. Right there, got it.
So scroll down to the third picture. That's Hammurabi's codes right there, by the way, just in case you don't know that Hammurabi has something to do with the Saturnalia. All right, so we're gonna take this drawing right here, and we're gonna decode it. Okay, this is a festival of Saturnalia. Now, first off, let's go ahead and get 9/11 and the correlation with the Kabbalah. You have your tower and your two dice right there. That's why there's two holes in the ground. Two cubes in the ground in New York City. If you could see the writing on that cube, it's got the 5 and the 4, 9. The opposite side is 6 and the 3, 9. The total number shown is 9 plus 8 is 17, which reduces to 8. That's telling you the reaper of the souls. You see the puppet, the slave right there holding the V sideways with his finger tucked. That means the vulva. The tower represents the penis. And what you have here is the mask hovering over the table, meaning this is the time for revelry, for us to put on our mask and be who we want to be. And of course, I can't remember, but I broke down all the Latin on the side over there. What it really says is, slave, are you ready to game with your master, and a few other things like that. But yes, so here's a depiction with the two dice in a tower, which again, the two balls and a penis going up to the vulva, the sideways V right there, which people will tell you it means victory. It really doesn't. It's pan and pan upwards, I think, and on the sideways like that, it's the vulva showing the vagina. But yeah, so that's another depiction there. This is what this event is about. And look, so we correlate what's happening today. You watch all these parades and everything else, and how they're becoming less and less. There you go, Richie. That's why the two cubes are there. That's your two cubes in a tower. That's your
It's the craziest, most evil monument they could ever put. Two bottomless pits with a cube inside of a cube with a never-ending bottom full of dark water. It's just them celebrating the giant satanic ritual that they did that literally did change everything.
Yes.
I mean, that was one hell of a piece of magic, don't you think? I mean, they did change everything. Everything changed after 9/11.
So what they did is that they're saying we're going back to the Dark Ages. So recognize this, what they call the Dark Ages, what they tell us in our history books, was really a Dark Ages for their control over humanity. What had happened was a spiritual enlightenment and people broke free. And that's why the Inquisitions and all this stuff, and they tried to quell. So they want to go back to that time, that neo-feudalistic time period, which is now called communism, okay? That's what it's called today, but it's new feudalism, and that's where they're wanting to go. So in the symbology, of course, and we know that the One World Trade Tower is a square within a square, and all those things, which are 8. That's another depiction of Saturn. That's like I told you. It's all there for you to see. You just have to have eyes to see it.
Indeed, absolutely. I'm trying to watch the chat here at the same time, but it's absolutely crazy. Michael Kahn, I hope I said that right, whatever.
There you go, Brett Daniel, 2-ball cane. He's got it.
Yep. They celebrate Gog and Magog in the UK. It is amazing. I used to talk to Ron Johnson from Stranger Than Fiction News a long time ago. I don't know what happened to him, whatever. But he lived in France, or claimed he lived in France. It is amazing how they satanically worship all these lowercase g gods all over the country, all over the world, all over the place that ain't the United States, right out in the open. And people don't, I mean, the dressing up as demons and walking down the streets and grabbing kids and all this stuff. I mean, they do it all over the place. We're the only ones that pretend that we're celebrating the birth of Yahushua on the wrong date, calling him the wrong name with Satan clause right there. Everything's right there for you to see.
Yeah.
I mean, Santa's name. Come on. That's the lamest acronym or whatever it's called ever. So, there's that.
It is. So, listen, we're all, I'll answer that question. So
take your time, brother, because people are really, they were asking before we went live. I feel bad, but
my wife and I don't agree on Christmas as of yet. We've come to agree on many things, but this, I stand my ground, and we just, we separate, and she takes in that. But my sons know that I don't celebrate Christmas. And it doesn't bother them. It's in our heads what we think it means to the children. Like we're cutting them out. But man, I've given more over the year out of the kindness of my heart without it having to be just one day. Why do I have to be relegated to one day of year to give things out of the heart? I give every weekend. I spend 7 and 8 hours fixing meals and putting together studies and host people in my home. And nobody has to pay a dime. It's really from the heart, folks. But yes, so no, we all have these challenges in our own families, folks. We don't have to be buttholes, but we have to stand our ground for what's right. Yeah, you do. You're right. Me
too.
That's the point. That is the point. Is to corral you in. It's the temptation, right? It's the temptation of the flesh. And look, this is psychology. This is psychology 101. They know that we all instinctively want to be part of the herd. Okay, that's it. That's instinctively, you don't want to be outside. That's why your whole life has been setting in groups all the way through high school, college, or whatever. You always had a group that you fit in. Then you get older, you had a group, left or right, Democrat, Republican. There's always some type of group that you fit in. And that's the purpose of it. In this one holy day, which is Rome's holy day, make no mistake, this is Rome's calendar, and everything else is designed to make you feel bad for not having the spirit of joy on their day. That's the design of it, man. It's a hard time of the year for us. But look, man, we have fellowship right here in these chats. Of course, that's probably why we've had 4 live streams in the last week. We're all feeling this. We're all alone.
I ran right. I jumped in the shower. I threw on some clothes, and I'm like, Sib, we got to go live. We got to go live. I'm gonna try to get a few people together and go live tomorrow night, as long as I can possibly stand it, just so people have some place to chill, as opposed to the Christmas Eve things. And again, I mean, I don't say this very often in live streams, but this peace and security thing popping up in really random places, and then if this is not a drill, I mean, we've already discussed this. I think they're ready. They're ready. They've been ready. They're ahead of schedule, and they're ready. Christmas would be the perfect time. But whatever.
Well, it's they'll keep going. That's that Fabian socialism that we talk about all the time. What scares me the most is that it just keeps slow dripping. I hope for a cataclysmic event that would snap people up out of their asleepness. I
told you, I might even have said this live. I told you that I was praying the other day, and I'm like, God, I mean, I know you know better than I do. Which he was like, well, gee, thanks, Richie. Thanks. At least you give me that. That's what when I pray, that's what goes on in my head. Me and God, he's talking, and he's just looking at me going, this kid is goddamn unbelievable. Nice. Look at all that in one sentence. I said, I think they need a miracle. And he's probably just going, just do whatever you're doing down there, and I'll take care of, I got you. But yeah, it seems like we might need a miracle to wake people up, or what Americans are used to in the rest of the world, an enormous cataclysm of some sort, which would be man-made, because I can't help but notice, like, why is the government coming out publicly saying, yes, we're going to start funding geoengineering? Well, then who's been funding it the whole time? Like, because the people that they're trying to slow disclose this to don't care, and the people that have known they've been doing it are irate. It's just unbelievable, but 5G and chemtrails go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Well, look, you can look at the last 30.
This ain't Nicholson. This is not Nicholson. I knew it.
No,
you ain't. That ain't. Somebody put that out there as Nicholson. Nicholson would not say that.
Yeah,
bitches, that ain't Nicholson. I don't think he claimed he was. I don't think he
claimed he was neither. And what I've come to notice over the last years, because I was heavy into petrochemical construction and traveling all over the United States to build power plants and petrochemical refineries. And at the time, I couldn't understand why we were building these power plants and everything out in the middle of nowhere. But these are placed there to put the moisture in the air. You go out there in the middle of Arizona or the middle of absolutely nowhere, and notice that this has been the plan the whole time, was to control the weather. Well, when you control the weather, you control the food. You control how many times.
Dude, if you can make weather, that's godlike.
Yeah,
I spent like 2 hours this morning literally putting all the PDF files that I have on a hard drive of them, going all the way back to the 60s. Back in 66, they were saying, we've been working on controlling the weather for 20 years. So right after World War II, they must have found something, or whatever the Thule Society or the Vril Girls or whatever, they must have conjured up something to control the weather. Because if you can control the weather, you can kick some serious ass and deny it. That's exactly what they're doing, actually, now that I say it. Eric C's All's in the chat right now. Dude, I tried to mirror your video, the one about Geostorm, exactly what we're talking about right now. And I didn't even hit publish. Blocked in all countries, because there's too much of that movie, Geostorm. Yeah. So they won't let me slide with it. So you got away with one there. So there's that. Just so you know, I didn't blow you off, dude.
Yeah, I went and subscribed to his channel today.
Yeah, he's doing better. There's a lot of reading, but whatever. At any rate. All right. So what did I just completely interrupt here? We were talking Saturnalia, and everyone seems to have the same problem. And so as you do, so don't I. I got to bail. You know what I mean? I can't be around for this. And what do you say when people say Merry Christmas? Well, that's kind of not a problem. They made a big deal out of it. That was another one. Merry Christmas offends me. Well, then F off.
Well,
that. You know what I mean?
I want to show this too to men and women. There are going to be a lot of people offended when they take their holiday back, and like that satanic idol out there in the Illinois Capitol, right next to the Christmas tree. And the symbology is there, folks. They're telling you whose symbol that is, with the cross of Lorraine, better known as the cross of Leviathan, on that symbol. They've already pretty much taken Christ out of Christmas anyway. They've done that over the last 40 years when men and women, my grandmother, her dad, which would be my great grandfather. There it is right there. So they've got one of the statues in the middle of the yard outside, and it's got the cross of Leviathan. But let's break that symbol down right there.
Let me get a better picture. Let me get this comment out of the way. Yeah, this is when I went to the Satanic Temple, she didn't realize who I was, but figured it out quickly. I got it on video. I said, so what do you do with this giant, 9-foot tall Baphomet statue you have out here in Salem, Massachusetts, behind the temple, and call it art? She said, any place in the United States, they try to put up the 10 Commandments or do anything in Christ's name, we drive out there and do this. And they always get a permit for it. And the funniest thing is, if you see in the video about inside the Satanic Temple, they've got a complete 9-foot tall, super big statue of Baphomet, but it has no boobs. And I noticed that. I said, why are there no breasts on this statue? Well, we don't want to offend people. So
Yeah,
you're going to lie about that too. You know, like
it never stops. They don't want people to know the real agenda, Richie.
Right.
They don't want them to see that hermaphrodite right there, and then correlate that with the transgender agenda going across the country. So of course we see that knowledge is the greatest gift, right? I broke this down this weekend, what their knowledge means. There's two different paths: the knowledge with the intent to be selfless. That's the go back to bearing the cross. That's the self denial. And then their knowledge is the knowledge of selfishness, which is thelema, Aleister Crowley's thelema, love and agape, as do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, which is just that particular line of thought that is just fulfilling the desires of the flesh, pride, and ego. We see the cube right there. That if you get a better, you can see the red glow right there, but that on top, there's a better picture of that plate. It's actually white. So you have the black, white, and red. Remember, folks, this is alchemical transmutation, right? So you have the black, the negrito, the red, the rubella, and then the white, the whitening. This is the alchemical process, the transmutation of humanity. What we have in Satanism, what most people don't realize, they think of the pitchfork beast, but really what these are, folks, these are atheists. These mean that of course means that the only God is themselves. They are bypassing, trying to climb up another way. They are. You see the snake wrapping around the female woman's arm, going up to eat the apple. And of course, that's depicted. I'm surprised they don't have the wings of Shamash right there or something. Must have run out a little money. There's a lot of symbology right there. But you've got the cube, you've got the matrix, you've got everything going right there. Of course, in the color code, stating it right next to the phallus, which is what the evergreen tree really represents.
Which is also covered with red and white candy canes. Did you see this young fellow is very upset. Check this comment out. The only problem with that is I thought that as well until I discovered that when Jesus was around, the letter J wasn't at all.
Yeah,
at all.
You're going to have these guys that don't understand. Listen, I just showed yesterday why I don't even partake in the Masoretic Hebrew, because it's another, the Masoretic Hebrew, Greek, Latin, and then of course English, which is the New World language of commerce. Understand that's what English is, folks. If you think you're just speaking a pure language that is unadulterated, you've got another thing coming to you, because what we really speak is debased Latin, Latin of illiterate people, Latin of ignorant people. Which is translates to dog Latin, by the way. Remember, they're always lowering us down on that totem pole. We can't even speak clearly because we don't even know what we're saying. So we're dogs. We're dog Latin. So I would advise anybody to define the terms. And if you try to go define all Hebrews, all that lineage, every child born, they gave them a name that meant something. Every name could be translated into something else that it had meaning. Okay, you can't define Jesus. You can't find a definition of what it means at all. Yahushua actually means the Father saves, just as the name of the Father shall be in me. And so all these things, you have to break past that barrier. And it's also about knowing what you're saying and how you're saying it. So don't force anybody. I'm not going to force you to change from Jesus.
The thing is you never said a word to me for months. But the more I started looking into it, the more it made sense. And that's why I've got this comment up. God is God. Because I've said this a million times. Who cares what you call him? Well, because other people have taken the name. And when you're using Jesus or Lord, things like that, you better be praying straight to the Heavenly Father, straight up. and not telling somebody else, because if they don't know exactly what you're referring to exactly, explain this.
Well, you're talking about semantics. You say God, I say God. We're talking about two different things. Paula White says Jesus, I say Jesus. We're talking about two different things. She's talking about the Alice Bailey's cosmic Christ. I'm talking about the one from the book. Okay, so what you have to do, that's why the language is broken down. That's why we speak Babel and debased Latin, is for men and women to always correlate their beliefs to the word that someone else is speaking. That's why Donald Trump can get on TV and talk about Jesus and God and everything else. God's a title, folks.
That's what got me, because he's up there talking, and I'm like, this dude has a tree of life and worships the Kabbalah in his office. It's hanging up. We got it. Yeah. We got it. And more than one time. And then he built a building. He built a skyscraper to this. You know what I'm saying? That's commitment, man.
Yeah, well, on the back of your money is "In God We Trust." Let's break that down. Okay, so in God we trust. That's secular in nature. That's not the supreme deity. That is the secular government of the Sestacute Trust that you're surety of a debt for. These things, man, you just have to get to the point of challenging your thinking and seeking the truth. Quit staying stagnant in the same place. Don't make me your enemy because I bring you a different viewpoint.
One sec. Hey, I don't know what your name is, Crypto Stacker, so I'll just call you asshole. That doesn't have anything to do with as above, so below, which is what you would call Under Armour. But there's that. All right, finish. I'm sorry about that, Brandon. I just wanted
They're in every chat, man. They're in every chat.
I'm aware.
You know, and look, again, that goes back to this, right? You have to, the whole point of this paradigm is you have to pinpoint and find something wrong with everybody that you watch. And that instead of taking the information that leads you to truth, you have to find something wrong with everything. And of course, that just plays right into the dialectic of you can't trust anybody. Listen, this is a lot deeper than signs and symbols, folks. It's just a lot deeper than that.
Boy, people get riled up, don't they?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. And let me tell you something. For as long as I've been on YouTube, for as much as they've effed with me over the years, for as established as I am, why would I bring a dude that was just recently put on an official hate speech website on my channel right afterwards all the time? Because what he was saying resonated bigger and louder than almost anybody I'd ever heard before. And if you can hear him instead of trying to see if I'm making a secret hand signal or what my shirt may or may not say, you'll understand some things, because he went after the language. Nobody did that. Not that I know of. A few people have broke down the language over the years, but he's laid it out because everybody that I roll with, everybody that I've talked to, everybody that I meet across the country have been talking about the First and Second Amendment. And I'm like, I don't think it makes any difference. They already took away free speech zones. You can protest over there inside that dog kennel. How many years has that been going on?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Second Amendment, we're going to do it. They're just taking away left and right. They don't care. Well, it turns out the Constitution wasn't written for us whatsoever at all. No. At all. And it's all in the terminology, which is why when you go to court, you want to represent yourself and think you ain't going to jail. Have at it. I've sat there and watched people do just that. You need to speak their special language. And this young fellow from Louisiana figured it out and can prove it. And it goes a little bit deeper than that. So this is where I'm at right now. For me, YouTube, this is YouTube suicide, talking about the learned elders of Zion and even having somebody from an official hate speech website on every, 45 minutes, it seems.
Well, I saw one of my chatters say Brandon's never said anything hateful, but remember, guys, we're not the ones
we live in, man.
We're not the ones defining those terms. Truth becomes the most supreme hate speech in the world because the truth is offensive to those living a lie. So one thing that I do every time I challenge myself and start digging a little bit deeper. Hey, Jennifer, I didn't see you. Every time.
I always forget the name. It's ridiculous. I've got it right here, and I still say it wrong. It's just how I am. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so you have to challenge yourselves. Listen, folks, he meets us where we are, and that's what happens. But you got to get up off your butt and start moving, because you have to earn the truth. Buy the truth and sell it not. These get wisdom, get knowledge, and get understanding, because the only way that you can defend yourself against the fiery darts of the wicked is to ground yourself in knowledge, to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. You just have to do that, folks. This is, it's an ever-ending battle to think this stuff through. It's not just go read one little page in the Bible and say, okay, this is what it says. Well, first, 95% of the people in this world don't even know, can't even define what the words in English mean. They have no earthly idea.
I agree with this comment right here, because it did for mine too. It did for mine.
Thank you, my friend.
People are saying, what's it going to be like for the kids? It's going to be nothing like we ever knew, if anything at all. I'm really seeing how things are coming to, it's all coming to an apex. It's coming. I almost made the pyramid sign, which would be an apex. Do you know what I mean? That'll be in a video tomorrow, or maybe tonight. Depends how quick their editing is.
Well, it's dovetailing, right? It's coming to that dovetail point. And we talk about it every week. It's just, it's going so fast now because it can't do anything else. The overall debauchery of society and the overall decadence of society's mind cannot continue to sustain a society. Only a good and morally upright society can be a just society. A morally depraved and decrepit society will crumble. That's just the truth. That's just that. There's evidence proves that every time a society gets to this point, it collapses upon itself. It cannot hold the weight up. Just look at these spending bills that Donald Trump and these Republicans and Democrats are passing while they arguing over impeachment and everything else. Dude, $1.4 trillion, the deficit, the overall debt servitude that we're under right now. Understand this, debt is sin, folks. Debt is sin because the debtor is always slave to the lender, the creditor, and the true creditor is the father, because he owns original jurisdiction. When you understand that, recognize that, that's the reason this system is built up as the polar opposite of the Father's government, which is your 10 commandments. That is your true government, not man's government. But all these things go hand in hand, and until men and women stop arguing or finding nitpicking little things, this is a deep rabbit hole, folks.
It's amazingly deep, and we've gone over, I don't know how many times, how much time, energy, and effort they've put into psychology, the human brain. They've done this to us, and they've done it to us. It wasn't always like this in the quote unquote truth community. You may have remembered 6, 7, 8 years ago, it was pretty decent. And then all of a sudden, the pendulum swung. It's funny because someone just tried, there's a comment, I can't find it. I wanted to put it up here. It said, buy a life straw, LOL. Well, here's the deal. If you go back to the second video I ever put up, I was showing you how to make a bug out bag, because if you ain't prepared, you're just going to be a victim. If you think that somebody's going to come down here and scoop you up right before everything gets ugly, before the powers that be shut down the power, kill the grid, no more food, no more nothing, and you ain't ready, you're going to be a victim. And that's just all there is to it. So do whatever. I never ever once said buy a life straw. Get a Sawyer water filter. They're the shit.
Well, life skills, folks. There's a reason why.
I even said that. I was thinking about, you got life skills. I got life skills. A lot of people
you have to have these real life skills, because what's happened, we have been domesticated like animals, man. We're no different than the pig farms and everything else in the cage. They took us off the land where we were tilling the land. We could build our own home. They brought us into these cities, which are cages, and said, okay, We're going to compartmentalize you and teach you one trade instead of like 150 years ago, where a man could build a home, grow a crop, he could hunt, he could do everything he needed to do and survive. Now you go ask the normal millennial, hey, go screw in that light bulb. He's got to go look at a YouTube video.
Gotta Google it. Gotta Google it.
You got to Google it.
Right? It's absolutely unbelievable. This was my number one answer for the longest time, and my life has been better for it. You know what I mean? For real. Get rid of your television. There's no reason to have one. Literally, before I turn on either one of these scrying mirrors with the powers and principalities button that's on everything, first thing you got to do is touch power. Hit those buttons. I pray for the full armor of God every single solitary time. And before I started doing that, there was repercussions. You know what I'm saying? So, we're getting a little worked up here, both of us.
Well, and listen, guys, remember, listen, one of my favorite verses is Jeremiah 33:3. Call unto me, and I will answer thee. And then he's going to show you great and mighty things that thou knowest not. And of course, it will correlate that with Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. Thou shalt be no priest to me. And this affects the third and fourth generations, because the ignorant teach their children how to be ignorant. And of course,
we're seeing that in massive doses. You know, it's amazing how they got people into urban settings, into the projects, etc., and then surrounded them with gun stores, fast food, and alcohol stores, and then flooded with drugs. Real quick, that's kind of a dick thing to say there, Father Lucifer. I have a few survival skills, and I'm too old to struggle. Way older than Richie. Thanks. That's cool. Dick.
Well, let's hope let's hope that's an old name before you come around to the truth. Well, what I hope to see, I'm not going to call you that, Father Lucifer, because that's just not going to go down. But what I hope to see is another Exodus, my friends, and just from my little channel and how the fellowships come together. You know, what the saddest thing that I can say is that I've only caught one or two that live close to me. And they've come here for a deal, but we're spread out so far from each other, man. There has to be a way that eventually we come out and exit out of this system. I just have faith in that. I have faith in that. I hope to see it come.
You just put it out there. You just put it out there. So the emails are going to come in, because people have been asking me to do that. That's what I do when I jump in my truck and live out of my truck and eat out of my truck and freeze my ass off and wake up because my feet are so cold at 4:30 in the morning and blah, blah, blah. I meet people. I never say it. I never say where I'm going, because it's just not a good idea. It just isn't a good idea. But yeah, it seems like that might have to be the way to go, because mainstream, inner cities, regular people, when the next level comes, because the next level's coming, they're telling everybody they're going to spray the sky for some reason, all at the exact same time that 5G is going up. 5G is going up and almost ready to go online. 5G, the frequencies and the heavy metals in the sky are going to work with each other somehow, and it ain't going to be good for us. I don't know how to say that name, whatever those words are. Has anyone stopped? Yes. Allegedly, hundreds of MUFON guys and stuff know about this, and yes, they have, in the name of Yahweh, they have stopped alien abductions, because they're demons. There is no outer space. There is no peace and security being threatened by the U.S. to China about the Space Force, because they both know it's bullshit. But I digress. Sorry, I'm swearing, but you know,
it's okay.
Christian ever.
Well, we broke.
He doesn't identify as a Christian anymore, actually.
Well, I broke down the actual meaning of "do not take the Father's name in vain" yesterday. We're running around here saying that it's about what we deem curse words, and really vain means empty, that don't make his name empty, worthless, and vain is the force of men. And that's when we say it has no power, and we decide to go into that protective. Here we go, it's full circle, right? You go ask the government to protect you instead of your father says it means he has no power.
This dude right here, or a woman, whatever. In this day and age, you could be both, but I'm just kidding. The truth within us, one, said self. I've been telling people that for what good If they didn't want you to have guns, they wouldn't come on the news all the time going, and they're going to ban guns and they're going to get rid of guns. Every single solitary time they do that, people rush out and buy more and more and more, which would make you think we're well armed. We're good to go. I can't express this enough unless you've been targeted or you've dealt with electronic harassment or whatever it is in the middle of the night that comes. If you can't move or figure out how to use your weapon, it's useless. That is what the cell phone towers and 5G and the chemtrailing and everything else is. They're beyond weapons, man.
Well, all you have to do is look at the fact that they have a substation to run them. I mean, that's the cables going up to those deals are that big around. Massive power,
weapon grade wiring.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
yeah, these aren't just. And then at the top of some of them, you'll see a little antenna there that's really just for receiving signal. The other things, man, and yeah, it's just amazing. What's powering these things. Hey, brother Mike, hey, while you got him up there, I'll just go ahead and tell brother Mike he's been sharing my videos on Twitter. I thank you for that, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Mike's a good dude, man. He really is. He's a really good guy, without a doubt, man. There's a lot. See, we should have just segued right into smart weapons. I don't have any of it up. We got to do another one on that. We were supposed to, and we didn't. I think I'm having Dana Ashley on tomorrow. I think she covers that pretty well. And she doesn't mess around. She walks the talk, man, or whatever it is.
Yeah, and there's a lot of information out there. And look, no one person can have all the knowledge of this stuff. So,
negative.
I focus on the gift given to me, and others have been given a different gift to see other things. I lean on one of my posters, my subscribers, for the calendar. She's helped me a lot understanding this, and of course, you have to, folks. Don't ever think you can't get a little help. Dana's very good at what she does. Very good.
Yeah, she's for real. She doesn't just tell you how to stop 5G. She lives it. It freaked me out. Freaked me right out, man. She does not mess around whatsoever at all. I'm over here praying. She's doing tactical shizzle. So, all right, where are we at now, Sid? We're all.
Hey, man, we can go anywhere. I don't have anything to do, buddy. I'm not rushing you tonight. I felt like I rushed you the other night.
No, not at all.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Let's see if I got anything up there.
I'm going to pull this up because you sent it. I don't know why. This will remind you, so I'll show you. Stand by. China attacks Space Force. China, peace and security. That's ridiculous. It still just gets me.
Yes, I do have a Twitter, guys, but I am going to let y'all know. Anybody that follows me on Twitter, don't get upset. Close that little box right there, Richie. Close that box. You will see. You see the little closed deal on you will see this only once.
Got it.
There you go. You can read that right there about the evergreen trees from.
Oh, you're killing me. All right. I don't have any more water. I need a butler, dude. Okay. This is Bible verses about Christmas trees with a Forerunner commentary. Most of you guys know who Forerunner is, or should, or don't. I don't know. Whatever. When you put up that tree, tack a wreath on the door, and Mabel. All right, let me start that over because I started rapping it. When you put up that tree, tack a wreath on the door, and maybe hang mistletoe from the lintel. I don't know what that is. What are you signifying? John Williamson in Christmas Greenery, quote unquote, in the Dallas Morning News, December 6, 1986, encapsulates the pagan origin of decorating with evergreens. Okay. Evergreen trees were important fertility emblems for pre-Christian ceremonies marking the winter solstice. People from ancient societies believed that by decorating their homes and temples with evergreen trees such as holly, ivy, and mistletoe, they were helping to carry the diminished sun through the critical period, which is incredibly ironic with the way they're blocking the sun. We need a really big tree, but I digress. Mistletoe was the most sacred plant of the Druids. It was given great reverence because it grows on the venerated oak. The custom of kissing under the mistletoe comes from the ancient idea that mistletoe is the oak's genital. That is so gay. Did you hear what I just read?
I know. Oh, I've read it.
The custom of kissing under the mistletoe comes from the ancient idea that the mistletoe is the oak's genitals. And so it was believed that an embrace under its glistening berries were a sure guarantee of a fruitful union. The decoration of Christmas tree is a survival of pagan tree veneration. For centuries before Christianity, holly was used for celebrating their midwinter Saturnalia. While
there's a lot of good stuff on that article, by the way, and you can.
Then run with it. Go with what's there, and I'll read in a minute because I didn't have any. Loves Dana Ashley.
Yeah, well, and what you're doing here is always here. Let's read Jeremiah 10. Thus saith Yahuwah, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heaven are dismayed at them. And remember, this comes from that personifying the heavens instead of leaving it as what they are. We like to put persons up there when it's our sky clock. It's for times and seasons. For the customs of the people are vain. Remember, vain, that's that word. It's the force of men, the empty, worthless. It means it's by man's hands. That's the artificial. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. So they've made it an idol. Okay. They are upright as the palm tree, but they speak not. That means the tree standing up as upright as the palm tree, standing there as a phallus, but it speaks not. They must needs be born because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good. That means the idol is not living. It's not of the Father. It is the living that have life in them. The idol's hands cannot move or speak or do anything. Yet we give power to it. That's what we do. That it's inherent. Seems to be inherent in our culture is to give power to things that have none instead of celebrating the natural world.
That is quite the breakdown, man. This kid freaks me. Are you guys freaked out by him? He freaks me out. He's younger than I am. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And you know what else is unbelievable? Just real quick. I hate to do it, but Johnny doesn't know it all, but knows some Bible says, thought you didn't smoke. Well, I'm not smoking, number one. And somebody else said, Richie sure loves, out of all this stuff that we're doing right now, all the time we're giving you right now, is that all you guys got in the tank? Some of you, what somebody's wearing, what somebody's doing, listen or leave. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, it doesn't make any sense. It's like having somebody with what's that disease where you yell shit uncontrollably?
Tourette's.
It's like having someone with Tourette's open the door to the chat and just yell in something random that makes no sense and then walk back out. And here we go. And then this guy's like, I can't get enough of it. He just said all that, and I'll still say this. And no, it isn't. But I'll digress. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. I would be embarrassed after everything I just said to still say that and still be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I guess some people just have unlimited time to just go hang out in chats and contribute nothing. But I'll digress. All right, you want me to bring that back up again?
Yeah, bring it back up. Read a little bit more because we can get.
So let me read some more. Everybody loves that. All right.
While all the greenery in
a home decked out for Christmas is beautiful to look at, these customs have nothing at all to do with Christ. In fact, they are sheer paganism, directly descended from ancient rites practiced long before Yeshua's birth, Jesus with no J's birth. See Jeremiah 10, 1-5. Do you really want to give the impression that you are worshiping a tree or that you would, all right, why won't you go away? You're bumming me out. Do you really want to give the impression you are worshiping a tree or that you desire a fruitful union because you give someone a kiss under the mistletoe? Will you go away, dude? There we go. The ultimate squirrel.
I got you.
Right. Keep going, yeah?
Yeah, keep going, because we'll talk about this next piece right here.
All right. Two key figures in the origin of Christmas are Nimrod, a great-grandson of Noah, and his mother and wife, Semiramis, also known as Ishtar and Isis. Ishtar on Easter, she comes around a lot.
That's right.
Nimrod, known in Egypt as Osiris, was the founder of the first world empire at Babel, later known as Babylon. From ancient sources such as the Epic of Gilgamesh and records unearthed by archaeologists from long-ruined Mesopotamia and Egyptian cities, we can reconstruct subsequent events. After Nimrod's death, Semiramis promoted the belief that he was a god. She claimed that she saw a full-grown evergreen tree spring out of the roots of a dead tree stump, symbolizing the springing forth of a new life for Nimrod on the anniversary of his birth. She said Nimrod would visit the evergreen tree and leave gifts under it. His birthday fell on the winter solstice at the end of December. A few years later, Semiramis bore a son, Horus, the guy in the back of your dollar bill that's always looking at you, or Gilgamesh. She declared that she had been visited by the spirit of Nimrod, who left her pregnant with her boy, Horus, she maintained. Was Nimrod reincarnated? With a father, mother, and son deified, a deceptive, perverted trinity was formed. Semiramis and Horus were worshipped as Madonna and Child. As the generations passed, they were worshipped under other names in different countries and languages. Many of these are recognizable: Fortuna and Jupiter in Rome, Aphrodite and Adonis in Greek, Ashtoreth and Astarte in Molech and Baal in Canaan. During the time between Babel and Christ, pagans developed the belief that the days grew shorter in early winter because their sun god was leaving them. When they saw the length of the day increased, they celebrated by riotous, unrestrained feasting and orgies. This celebration, known as Saturnalia, was named after Saturn, another name for Nimrod. Your turn, homie, because I can't. I'm dying.
What it does is break down. Remember what I told you earlier about.
Right back.
Go ahead. What we have here is everybody thinks that all these the pantheons are separate. Okay, because that's the way you've been taught. You've been taught that it's the Roman pantheon, it's the Greek pantheon, it's the Persian pantheon, it's the Babylonian pantheon. And really what they are, when you get down to breaking it down, what they are the same gods. They're the same deities, the same men, or some may call them fallen angels, and there's some correlation to that. But we'll focus on the man aspect, right? We won't get into subjective thinking at this point in time. But what you have here is the traditions of men. This is the traditions and commandments of men, the doctrines of men that pass down generation to generation. And of course, they come out and you have, over the years, they incorporate this slowly but surely. Of course, we know that Easter is the Eastern Star, which is Ishtar, right? You have the wreath, you have the Christmas tree, and then you have the lights. The lights represent fertility of the eggs and everything else, and then you have the debauchery leading up to it. And of course, this correlates with the birth of the sun god on December 25th, and all these other things. This is a perversion of the truth. It's always a perversion. It's all, and of course, you'll just keep on going through there. It's just the truth, folks. And what we can do is, with this being armed with the truth, we can protect ourselves from the lies.
I think that was a pretty darn good breakdown for people to at least get started with. And speaking of perversions of the truth, we're watching our own officials, the authorities, the officials in the United States telling us that this right here is good. It's equal. It's giving people rights. Do you know what I mean? It's just totally, completely laughable. If you or I or anyone in the chat right now tries and goes to erect the 10 Commandments, which in a regular world would be a good thing. If people saw the 10 Commandments and actually said, you know what, for 6 months, I'm going to try to live my life by this, it would be a better world right off the bat. Just period, straight up, right up and down. You will get fined. You will get drawn in front of a courtroom. You'll sit in front of a judge, and you might even end up in jail for it. But if you want to put a demon on top of a black cube, glowing red next to a Christmas tree, it's all good. It's all good. I'm sure that's an Illuminati symbol too somehow now. So, anyway.
What you have is a loss of personal responsibility, right? And that's really what we live into this day. Is everybody blames everything on someone else for the way that they are,
And that's by design. And tell them that's not everybody's fault. It's by design.
It is by design,
man. It's all coming out of those televisions.
Yeah, it is. It's by design, and of course that's always keeping you locked into that victim mentality, folks. But let me tell you, I'm not going to say the name. That victim mentality comes from a certain sector group, and it's a psychopathic, narcissistic viewpoint of life. Okay. And this is why you can't get through to people that are always, and everybody has met somebody like this in their life that play the eternal victim. You can never break through to the eternal victim because nothing is ever their fault. Nothing.
Everybody just shook their head because everyone knows somebody like that. It's I don't even know how another YouTuber, and I apologize, I can't remember his name or her name, but at the beginning of their video, they always started out with, "Father, how do I reach them?" And it's the best question ever because I don't care what you think. I don't care about anything. I ask God, I ask our Heavenly Father every day that I don't misdirect people. And if somebody is listening and if I do matter and what I'm saying here is worthy, that they spread it. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's so hard, dude. It's so hard. You think those trolls getting me all worked up is by accident? That's
No, it's designed. Listen, what we want to do is have fellowship in these meetings, right? They know that. And even those who don't even intentionally mean to cause distractions, they just think they're being smart or being catchy, are in the chat room to cause disruption. Because what they don't want, and listen, folks, this is the reason why everything's so polarized, and this is why confirmation bias has been programmed into your mind. You're always looking for someone that thinks exactly like you. As soon as something challenges you to think another way, oh, that's it, shield, I'm out of here.
It's an excuse. It's an excuse to bail, and I'm guilty of it. I said it the other night, "Hey, everybody, take my advice because I ain't using it."
Yeah.
99 things out of 100. It's like, this is amazing. Wow. Oh, wait a minute. This guy doesn't know that outer space isn't real. Oh, what a jerk. Oh, this guy's unbelievable. I can't. Oh, that's it.
That's it.
It's incredibly difficult to get by that. It is without a doubt because I've fallen in it. So what do you think of this right here?
Okay, so look, one guy yesterday was telling me about this Mandela effect and everything else, and he was really upset about the change of debt in the Father's prayer. Here we go. This is one of those things where, did it assist you or did it hurt you? And I'll say this too: there will be a famine in the land for the word. That particular changing right there from debt to trespass, which no one ever defines the terms. If you define what debt is, it is a trespass. If you define what trespass is, it is a debt because you have taken someone else's property and now have contracted to be their debt slave. So debt is a trespass. So that particular point focuses, if it did change, I don't know. I've only been reading the Bible for about 5 years. So if it changed before that, I have no clue. But let's just hypothetically say it changed. Well, let me tell you something. It changed to show you that debt has a pretty big significance on your enslavement.
Here's the deal. I think it was in 2016. So about 4 years ago, I made a video on the Mandela effect. And I'm like, come on, people. Are you kidding? This is just a distraction, blah, 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 blah. And to prove them wrong, I spent $200 and change on this 1880s Bible, King James Version Bible. It's old. It's in good shape. There's a needle in it. I forget why. Somebody told me. I already forget why. But I read this. And it said constellations.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't. It says planets, dude. I don't have it on video. So,
well, and let's go back to this, right? So, have we? Here we go again. Are we able to shift consciousness enough with enough predictive programming to actually change things?
now I'm so glad to hear someone else say that, because I thought the same thing, because then right after that, I bump into a video that CERN put out a year ago, a year prior, I should say, and they were holding up signs, Mandela.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, are these guys claiming this? Can they really do, like, did they change one little thing? And then you got Geordie Rose. And Geordie Rose is just the money guy, but he's still considered a physicist. Steve, whatever his name is, I forget, talking about we're going to other dimensions, we're going to other realms, we're pulling out resources, we're doing this. Like, these guys are saying this at science conferences. And then they refer to Anthony Patch in a video that me and him did.
Well, and I'll say this too on this Mandela effect. There's a lot of things that's happened with it that I cannot explain, that my memory remembers wrong. One of them's Ed McMahon and the sweepstakes. That's just blows my mind. I remember that dude going around with balloons as a kid and handing out the big checks. I just remember that. That's what I remember.
Me too, completely.
But again, this is another one of those things where you can spend all your time, every waking minute of every day, trying to decode that, and you're going to go nowhere.
And
absolutely nowhere.
And I've said it to other guys. Some guys think the Mandela effect is it's not. I can't stress this enough. We're at a precipice. The government's finally come out and said, yeah, we're going to start funding spraying the sky. Well, then what's that going to look like? Do you know what I mean? And why don't people care that the government's saying we're going to block out the sun for you? You guys can't balance the budget. You go to war on lies. You don't do anything right, but you're going to block out the sun and everything's going to be fine. That should be the main problem, but no one even cares. Like, that's how bad it is. They're going to block out the sun, and they're telling you straight up. They started in 2017. Now the government's saying we're going to take your money, and instead of giving it to this country over here to put up a wall, because we're never actually going to do it. If we do put it up, it's going to be to keep you in. But we'll digress. They're out. They're out. The Mandela effect is disconcerting, but there's bigger fish to fry, man. I don't care if a song's not the same as I remember it, because unless you got it all on video, it's hard to prove. And then what?
Well, we're digital now too. We're totally digital now.
That's the other thing I said. I hear you. Go ahead.
You know, we've left the world of analog. We've gone to digital. That doesn't explain how that changes in the hard copies. But here's the thing that I can say: after all the breaking downs and going back to the root languages of the Bible, both in the Geneva and in the KJV, at this point in time, I have not found one word that, when I go correlate it back to its original meaning in English, not even taking it back to Hebrew, because I really don't care for Masoretic Hebrew at all. And I'll do another study on that in a future time and place. But when I take it all the way back to what it actually meant, I have found not one thing in there that doesn't clarify what it meant. And for the whole debt thing, hey, folks, man, this is a big key, because hell in the Black's Law Dictionary is the chamber under a room in the executioner's chambers underneath the king's court where the debtors are. That's where hell is. Hell can be on earth, and it's as a debtor. It's as a slave to the systems of men. And what they used to call that was the star chamber. Y'all can go look that up. That's the star chamber in the English feudal times. But that's exactly what debt means. And so these things like this, these are put into our idea to keep us doing like this in circular logic, and keep us trapped inside that, when we should break outside that paradigm. It's like people that spend all day looking at the stars, the Beyoncés and everything else, and their latest ceremony. Listen, folks, those are limited hangouts. If you've been studying the occult and all this stuff for a certain amount of time, you should progress in stages, and you should get to a point to where you stop getting stuck on limited hangouts and get to a point of knowledge, understanding, and breaking through this paradigm, folks.
And the limited hangouts are never ending, nonstop. These guys, without a doubt, have the ability to watch us now they've got the ability to have AI watch us now and change things in accordance with it. Tomorrow, there might be 1,000 Mandela effects that we can't ignore. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just because those two guys are dicks. You know what I'm saying?
No, listen, I go watch Money Bags every now and then, and there's some things that I can't explain. And listen, and again, not one man can have all the knowledge, but what we're trying to say here, there's a more important agenda other than finding all the things that's going wrong with this crazy world. Hey, listen, folks, they got a lot of control. And I'm just saying, if they wanted to, there's enough mind-controlled zombies out there to hit them with a wave and go replace your Bible. I mean, I don't. Nothing in this world. Let me state this unequivocally. I've come so far down this process where absolutely nothing would surprise me
at all.
At all.
Speaking of limited hangouts, somebody just posted this. The latest limited hangout that I gave no mind to, even though it was really good for views and whatnot, was Epstein. Epstein's not dead. They extracted him. He did his job. He works for Mossad. You know what I'm saying? There's enough ties going back to it. But look at all the traction, time, and energy people are posting. Jeffrey Epstein's not dead. Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Remember back when Pizzagate popped off, everyone's going to get arrested. And I made a video and everybody got so mad at me. I said, nothing's going to happen to them because if they arrest the pedophiles, the cops would be arrested. It would never work. It would never ever work because they're all down with it, man. And no one ever got arrested. They gave us a scapegoat and then suddenly he killed himself.
And what happened?
Both of us have been in concrete cells. Neither one of us were millionaires or friends of Trump. There is no way you can hang it up. There is no way. That's part of the jailhouse experience. You can't get out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you hit that. I was pretty impressed with you back then when you knew something was up with that and what they did. And let's show you how the desensitization goes of society. We put the Pizzagate meme out there. We have a Mossad operation and U.S. intelligence operation, Qtopia, Qtardia, take that and spread it all over the place. And everybody's talking about pedophilia and everything else. And then they walk a transgender 8-year-old boy out on Good Morning America and show you just how much it means to them.
Right. And then there's a little kid on the front page of every magazine, 10 years old, dancing in a gay bar, getting money. That's a crime. That's not one single solitary thing happened. It's a literal crime. No way. You can pick up any law book and find that. Men giving money to a child dancing in a nightclub, a gay nightclub to boot. There's so many illegal things going on right there. Nothing happened because it's part of the agenda. It's all good. It's all good.
Well, let's talk about that cupcake explosion, about whether it matters if he's alive or not.
Say that again? A cupcake explosion?
Yeah, he said he thinks Epstein's alive, right? Well, let's
I'm a cupcake explosion. Did I miss that?
Yeah, that's what he said. Well, let's do this and break it down with logic. So if you know, I made the comment before Epstein got offed or whatever, or went away to Mason Island. I said he's going to get immunity. And what does that mean? Immunity means dead men tell no tales. So no matter what, he got immunity. That means they dropped all the charges. All of it was a show. This was the WWE theater for everybody, and it's to demoralize you, to continue to drop to demoralize the people to where they continue to believe there's nothing, they're hopeless, they have no power, the government is useless. It is to demoralize you to the point to say that there's a big difference between us and them, and you can never be them because you're us, and that is how it's done.
That's right. When the first person walked into a Target store and went in the wrong bathroom because that's how they identified. Back then, I got so much flack. I said, this is going to go right to pedophilia. Pedophilia, children as a sexual object is going to become a thing. And boy, did it. I didn't think it would be this quick because I mean, the time frame that we had in the agenda was way off. Way off. But
yeah,
once you stop looking at all the limited hangouts and Reddit and all, like, I don't spend my time there, man. I can't.
Nope.
I can't spend my time on the internet. I don't watch other people's videos. People send me YouTube video links in the emails, And they all start with, Richie, I know you say, please don't send me any YouTube links, but here's one. That's still a YouTube. I don't want, it's either what I come up with, what he comes up with, or what just comes out organically. Other than that, I'm trying to live my life until the wheels fall off.
Let's talk about that too, right there. But man, you need, if you're going to talk about the Noahide laws, you need to talk about how many there really is. There's 620.
Right. Tell them.
Yeah, well, there's 620 Noahide laws. They break, each law has about 50 sub commandments for the goyim, and 7 Noahide laws for them. And this is for the goyim. That's the beast. That's relegating us, the uninitiated, the uncouth, to a different status. Remember, they're always lowering your status because God, the Father gave dominion to man. So they have to lower your status to beast. And that's why they do that, because once they call you a beast or you call yourself a human being, let's go to Black's Law Dictionary, right? Black's Law Dictionary states that a human being, if you trace that lineage back and forth through a person, human being, and everything else in Black's Law Dictionary, you end up on monster. A human being is a monster. There's a reason why they call you that, because you've lowered yourself on the chain of command. And as long as you lower yourself, you believe you are these things, and you claim that you are these things. By thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. It is important to know the meaning of words. And of course, the beginning of the manipulation of our words is the manipulation of our reality, is also the manipulation of the people who must use the words. So we always think, we never would have thought in a million years, or at least I didn't 5 years ago, that I would be at this point where I would be breaking down language to the point that I said, this is where it all begins, because this is where it all ends. They want us focused on all the other stuff because they don't want us to be able to actually speak into existence who and what we are. They want you on that beast mode. So those 620 laws are much bigger than the 7 Noahide laws.
I find this strange. I'm doing my own thing over here.
It's okay.
613 Boston College is claiming Noahide laws total.
Yeah, that's I had it. I shared it before. That's on the Hasidic University. I've got it right here. Watch this.
Oh, hold on. I'll pull it up.
Let's see. Hasidic University. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you right now, Richie.
Email?
Yep.
See, if you were from Boston, you would have said, no, I'm sending a carrier pigeon. He'll be there in about a half an hour.
Yeah, there's a well, see, we always got to go to, because you go to their text. You always use their text to define their deal. So we go to Hasidic University, and it'll show you the 620 laws, commandments for the goyim. It even tells you at the top, this is for the Gentiles, which is the goyim, the cattle.
Yeah, don't be proud to be a goyim. I get it, taking it back, but that's another little trick they played on us. Ask all the rappers that are calling themselves derogatory names and don't realize the implications behind it.
Well, yeah, you see all the things right here. That's you can click each one and start going through them all. And I promise you, this has nothing to do with out of the kindness of their hearts and how they love you and they want you to lead a fruitful life.
Commandments against adultery, 57 commandments. 7 are positive, 50 are negative. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Is this right here?
Yeah.
Oh, my. That's a lot. That's a lot just off of see this, people? This is a trick here. This isn't the website I originally found it on, but this will work. This works. I'm putting this in the chat right now.
Yeah, and so what you have to do is that on the outside, they make it look pious, right? No.
Remember what happened? Dude, it just went so. I can't even hear out of this ear.
I hate when it happens.
It happened to you, dude. That's crazy.
It does. I get it all the time, the ringing in my ears these days.
Well, when you go to the Talmudic, when you do this, that's what that's them. Hey, knock it off there, Goyim.
But so what they do is they make on the outside, they show that it's good for all of humanity, right? But they don't show you the separation in classes, right? And of course, this is in the United Nations Charter too, which is much more important than it being in the American Charter. Because I understand, folks, the United States pays copyright fees to the UNIDROIT. The UNIDROIT comes out of Rome, which is what the Uniform Commercial Code runs off of. This is the international, private international. Understand that this is not America. What you think it is not real. You think you have a government that operates the fairy tale way that you've been told. It is not. And that's not how it operates. This is the corporate states of America. And under that corporation, we operate under codes and statutes, which are primarily out of the Uniform Commercial Code. We pay a copyright fee to the Vatican of $260,000 a year to use UNIDROIT, and so you get these laws are coming in with the international court that is going to be in Jerusalem. All these things are coalescing together, folks, to show where we are headed. And it is important for us to get to the point. Listen, if you don't know that there's the different languages that you're speaking, and we're going to have to get to this point where we protect ourselves with our words, and the Father is going to give us the knowledge to learn this stuff. Man, I'm a backwoods country boy. I didn't finish ninth grade. If I can do this, anybody else can do this. And we're going to continue marching forward to break these chains of bondage from these really partitioners of hell. It's really what I think of them as.
Well, then there you go. There you go. I get ringing in my ears sometimes too. Yeah, that wasn't ringing. That was a sharp electronic noise that made me stop in my tracks. I have ringing in my ears 24/7. I'm not good with Wi-Fi, so.
Well, no, it gets me all the time.
Oh, man. Well, I saw it. I'm like, that happens to you too. You're like, yeah. I said, sometimes it drops me into my knees, and then it just happened. So there's that. No, we're not really live, Emma. We're not really live. This is a trick. This is a Mandela effect that's happening to you right now. The clock, the people that are blowing by you in the chat, and she's like the 300th person to say, "Are you really live?"
No.
The best part is when people leave comments after it's clearly not live. It's now on just YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, I can't. How come you're not listening to me? Well, it's because I did a live stream 15 hours ago. At any rate. All right. I got Chabad.org up too. And I left links for this. You guys, I mean, I'd really recommend that you save this stuff, because there might be a wall that goes up where you have to give a blood test, a 23andMe, to get on one of these websites. They're still up right now. And people, I mean, it's amazing how many people that I've watched, gone back and forth in emails, stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, Richie, the Noahide laws aren't bad, you know. That would actually be good for humanity. And there's less of them. And it's like, are you really going to just throw away the 10 commandments for 7 laws that aren't 7 laws whatsoever at all? I found that out before I even knew you. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't too tough to do, man. It's right there. So
yeah. Well, and 23andMe is one of those things, right? They're telling you right off the rip. They're giving the ode to Saturn, right? They're telling you right there off the top, this is 23andMe. It's funny how these things work out. It's always depicted right there in the beginning. You just have to learn to read the signs and the symbols. They're stealing. They're going to use your DNA and everything else to, and no telling what kind of abominations they're doing with it.
You know what's crazy is I've never seen a 23andMe thing at a supermarket. They're like $150. These guys get people coming and going. You pay voluntarily to be tracked. Everything you say, think, and do is monitored by some household appliance, whether you care to believe it or not, and have been since 2008. Samsung came out in 2008 and said, hey, don't have sex in front of your TV or make noises, because it tends to turn on the camera and the recorder. 2008. It's 2019, best-selling television in the United States to this day still. That they came out and said, hey, our television's watching you. Sorry about that. Oh, I don't care. It's got 4K. It's awesome. All right, brother. Yeah, William, leave. That's not a great thing to say in the chat. Just FYI. That's how you get other people in trouble or whatever. All right, Brandon, 140. That's a long time. We went out. This is a long one, brother. We've been going. I can't wait to hear. I listened to these afterwards because I have
let me go with Damon Zodiac right here. He said, disappointed you didn't reject the Mandela thing out of hand. If one doesn't reject that, how can they believe in anything? It is a dead duck and always was, and we need to reject it out of hand. Well, Damon, I did reject that on the fact that even though my memory has been at times unsure about how it works, I did reject it because it's an endless circle, right? I know this. I'm telling people that if you're going to sit there and watch Mandela effect videos all day long, you're going to keep going in a circle like this and never figuring anything out. Because
I totally agree, and I did put some time into it, and then I stopped because I said this goes nowhere.
That's right.
It goes nowhere. I don't care if a cookie wrapper changed. I don't care if the cereal box is a different color. None of that makes any difference. And then people say, well, they're changing the Bible. Well, if they're changing the Bible, why do I remember what it still said originally? So they can't change the Bible because we still got it.
And I'll say this again. Every word that I've decoded in the Bible that people told me was changed, when I go back and define that word, I don't find anything wrong with it. So modern English is corrupt already, and most people think they know what a word means, and they do not. I have proved that time and time again. So Damon, no, if I hinted at it that it's something that people need to go look at, no, that's not what I'm saying.
You didn't actually. You basically rejected it and said exactly what you just said. So
yeah, there's things that, listen, and this is why it's a limited hangout, because it gets you thinking that your memory's wrong and that your memory can't serve you, right? And of course, when you go down that rabbit hole, all you do is sit there in that limited hangout finding things that's wrong that you misremember. And listen, folks, let me tell you something. One thing I know is neuro-linguistic programming, and how neuro-linguistic programming works is to lead you to believe something that's false. And anybody that believes wholeheartedly that everything's changing around them, please go look into neuro-linguistic programming and how men and women can be led to believe something. So I understand that reality. I understand how duality world really works. And I understand that the truth is usually right next to, juxtaposed next to the lie. And that's where they operate the closest. So when somebody tells me that these things make more are more important than the stuff that I'm studying, or stuff that somebody like Daniel Ashley studying with 5G, or something like vaccines, or something along these lines, something that really poses a threat to us. I'm going to tell you, if Coke cans are getting changed by some digital matrix, that has no basis or purpose in your reality, and how that affects you. There's a lot more at problems.
There's so much more pressing stuff that's happening right now that you need to know about. I completely agree with you. That's why I dropped it a long time ago.
Yeah,
I agree, brother. You're not wrong. I will tell you, I remember Tiananmen Square. That tank ran the dude over. Doesn't it?
Yeah, I remember that too. There's a lot of them that mess with me, man. But I also
can't prove it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just one of those things that.
Let's drop the mic here. All right. Finish it. No, I mean, finish your sentence.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, guys. There's more pressing issues is all I want to say. It's just one of those deals. I would ask everybody to please start learning really what your Bible is saying and what you have been told it says, and start comparing those. Well, that seems like your own problem.
I don't want to put everybody up if I can. It's hard.
Hey, look, he just shows. Hey, man, I just showed up here, smoked the bowl, man. What's going on? What's wrong with these people?
It's all good. What are you gonna do? Discernment. That's it.
That's right. Learning to separate what's really important and what isn't important, and that's what discernment is, right? That's how we get there. It's one of those things, man. It's as we gain in knowledge and wisdom and understanding, we get better discernment.
Hey, Anita, if you ever had a plan like that, here's a tip. Don't put it on social media or on a live show. Do you see what I'm saying? Hey, we're being monitored at all times. It's pretty obvious. We've said things and watched Google Translator change the next day. But you're going to leave. I'm going to attack some. It's so stupid, man. Hey, Duke, see you later, pal.
Well, I want to say something to someone in my chat too.
They
want to know why we're going off on little tangents. Well, guys, hey, listen, guys, this is our opportunity to interact with y'all, for y'all to interact with one another. And I could be in my dictionary, my Bible, and my Black's Law dictionary right now, and putting the research on the board. You can see the board right there. I'm going to show it to y'all. The board is already full for next week. I can be working on the study. Can we do this out of
Miller effect, isn't it? Did it change? It used to be. Hey, listen to this, Brandon. You got to stop apologizing. You can't keep everybody happy. This isn't a teaching. This is a 2-hour show where we just covered more shit than most channels will all month. So if that doesn't do anything for you, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So anyway, just know that, guys, we are in here having fellowship, and I want to tell my moderators at all times, if guys get in here or anybody gets in here causing any trouble like that and trolling, just
and racist, throw them out. Swears
get
and
them out.
Throw them out. Don't say stupid shit.
Yeah, just get them out of here.
So this is a good one. Oh, I just missed it. That blows me away that this is a provable event, USS Liberty. Totally, completely documented, provable, nada. Because the U.S. government is not for the American people at all. At all.
Well, yeah, and listen, the fact that the Patriot Act was already written, Michael Chertoff was already hired, the plan for a new American century was already figured out. All these things that Silverstein, all the stuff that goes into it, and of course, that's another one of those things too. That's how the deal goes, right? It happened. It's done. The fact of the matter is that there's endless loopholes on that too. There's endless hangouts on that. The truth is they don't care anymore. They don't care that we know that it was fake. They don't care that we know that U.S. Liberty was fake. They don't care that the Gulf of Tonkin incident that we know that's fake. They don't care that the sinking of the Lusitania is fake. They don't care. They keep showing us over and over and over again every time.
Why they bought the media completely.
Yeah.
10 years ago when I started making videos, 6 companies were alleged to own all of the media, all of it, everything you see, hear, and read. That number has never moved from 6, but I would imagine it's probably 1. It's probably owned by Google by now.
Oh, dude, listen, Disney is about to buy another piece of the pie. You're going to have Google and Disney, Mickey, the wicked mouse that owns everything, man. Look, this is crazy where we're going.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And no disrespect for the people that spend all their time, or the people that, for whatever reason, some YouTube channels literally have labeled themselves straight up. This is a Mandela Effect channel. The biggest favor you can do to the New World Order, the powers that be, the pathetic little parasites, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, the elites, whatever, is label yourself. Put yourself in a box, because that's what they try to do to all of us at all times. We're talking about the stuff, and I have to think, I mean, you can't help but notice the shift. All I'm talking about from now on is what we're talking about right now, because it's what matters every single solitary day. So there's that. The real ID thing, that's going to be an issue for me, because I'm not going to dig that. But yeah, I've heard about it.
And you know, the reason why I'm breaking this stuff apart, and I hope that, listen, I'm not going to divulge because I don't want to mislead anybody, but there's something I'm working on with a trust document that I believe that I have figured out what the Bible really is. But either way, that is why I'm working diligently.
Wait. Back. Say that again. Say that. What did you just say?
I do believe, I'm going to say this. I do believe that your living trust is your Bible. I believe that your living trust already written with your government, and how to act in accord yourself and how to deal with the systems of men all at once, and that the Father's prayer has the 7 principles of you. That's why it's called you shall be sons of God. You're a benefactor from the Father through Yahushua. But that's the Father's prayer. Give me my daily bread. Your daily bread's life. I'm hoping that I'm supposing right here is the truth. I think it is. And when I get to that point, I'm going to share it. But either way, that's why I keep going down this route, because what we have before us is we're going to have to exit this system, and we're going to have to exit this system because this system cannot continue to hold its weight up. It's going to crash. We know this. There's no point in fear. Let's get diligent in our studies, get diligent in gaining knowledge, get diligent in gaining wisdom, and quit arguing back and forth with people that do not have the exact mindset of you. And let's start moving forward and working together to figure this stuff out.
Well, we are. We're practicing what we're preaching. Miss Mama Wall, I did invite Nicholson. If I hear back, I don't know. Nick kind of fell off, man. We were rolling together for a long time. He's got his reasons, and who knows? And I'll tell you what, when they really want to shut somebody up, they've got serious ways to do so. So that's all. I mean, it is what it is.
Hey, we'll keep it. And I'll tell everybody here, let's pray for protection for Brother Nicholson and give him the strength to be himself again, because that brother was greatly influenced me in my family.
Me too, man. Me too.
Greatly influenced me. I can see the signs and the symbols that I see today because of Nicholson. He was one of the for him and Illuminati, but Nicholson really helped me too. But yeah, we want to pray
for a lot more than just Nicholson and Illuminati. Nicholson, Illuminati, Zendrius. There's a lot of really solid dudes, and everyone. I don't understand. I'll say it publicly. I don't understand why, when time is so fleeting, when everything is sped up so exponentially right now, I don't know where all the big guns are. It just seems like a really shitty time. As bad as YouTube is right now, as tough as they're making it to be on YouTube and blah, 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 why in the world did I pick someone that's already on a hate speech website? That's just suicide. Am I wrong? You know what I mean?
No.
But it matters. The words that you say matter. I can't say them like that. That's what I'm saying. I know. I hear you, Luke. I hear you, man.
Green Eggs and Ham, your answer is he's been off YouTube for a very long time. Illuminati.
Oh, long time, yeah.
Yeah, long time.
So, at any rate.
I think we did it, brother. What do you think? We went to almost 2 hours. We didn't rush this one.
Let's go 9 more minutes and make it an even 2.
Okay, let's do it.
2 hours, and I'm funny like that. I wish you didn't say that. It's 28 minutes past my bedtime, man.
What time is it?
OD.
I got 30 more minutes before I go to bed.
To answer your question, Sophia, ODD's painting houses. That's his job now. So, I will. I'll send you a link. Black Child. Yeah, well, Black Child got taken down. That's a different story.
Yeah, you want to know what you want to know what got him? I'm going to tell you right now. His exposing the fraternities and the sororities at the college level, collegiate level, which is listen. A lot of people want to focus on Freemasonry today, but the real way they capture academia is
exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's how they capture. That's how they capture.
Say it. The way they do it is through the sororities, the
fraternities. Yep. Through these Greek deals, the Rhodes Scholarship Program, they catch all of them, and it's not the lodges and little bitty towns anymore. They're catching everybody through college education. There's a reason why they push everybody to college. Black Child was really good. No, yes, I agree with that.
I don't really think that, actually. Sensationalizing what the news says is, Black Child. Definitely. I hate when I go to click on a comment to highlight it, and I just click on this, and it says "and girls," which makes
and girls.
Yeah, and girls. Yeah, that was a spot on thing. The sororities, the Rhodes scholarships, they grabbed them, they put them into the they have all the best talent right off the bat, and then they give them the world. You know what I'm saying? So
let me pull this up real quick and I'll read it, and we'll do that because we forgot to do it the other day.
What is it?
Hold on. I'm pulling up the. Well, we just run out of time the other day, so I'm gonna do it here on
Merry Christmas, anyways. Really, dude? Seriously? After 2 hours, that's like Merry Christmas, anyways. F it.
So let's read this. This is from Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. This goes directly correlates to the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. Experience has prevent that the simplest method of securing a silent weapon and gaining control of the public is to keep the public undisciplined and ignorant of the basic system principles on the one hand, while keeping them confused, disorganized, and distracted with matters of no real importance on the other hand. This is achieved by disengaging their minds, sabotaging their mental activities, providing a low-quality program of public education in mathematics, logic, systems design, and economics, and discouraging technical creativity, engaging their emotions, increasing their self-indulgence, and their indulgence in emotional and physical activities. And so we have that, and then we have, hold on, where is it? One more. The quality of education given to the lower class must be of the poorest sort, so that the mode of ignorance isolating the inferior class from the superior class is and remains incomprehensible to the inferior class. With such an initial handicap, even bright lower class individuals have little hope of extricating themselves from their assigned lot in life. This form of slavery is essential to maintain some measure of social order, peace, and tranquility for the ruling upper class. And that goes right back into the conversation that we've been having on the grounds of why you have all these limited hangouts to keep you engaged in stuff that doesn't matter.
But hold on, Brandon. Let's read this comment together. Sorry, but you're wrong about the Mandela effect. It's from God. Example, God, according to this person, took the dash out of the Kit Kat candy bar to give us a rapture message. It's a small amount of something. Give me a break. Are you shitting me? Seriously? That's all you guys. I got to think that who am I? I'm going to guess who you are, who you am. You're a bot. Because that's ridiculous. Absolutely, completely ridiculous. You're missing the point. You'll be running around in circles forever, not doing anything of any consequence, in my honest opinion. And I've been doing this a couple of days.
Well, that's the design, right? Listen, folks, it doesn't matter if you believe it to be real or not. What happens is these let's listen. So let me explain this real quick. The Hegelian dialectic only works within polarization, okay? So you have to have a synthesis and an antithesis, okay? Or a thesis and an antithesis. So let's do this. That's why you've got Judaism and Rome, okay? So both if there wasn't both of them, you could be able to single out which one's the ruling hierarchy, okay? Even inside that next spectrum. So we just go to Judaism, right? Inside Judaism is Zionism and anti-Zionism. Inside that, Judaism and Zionism. Inside Catholicism is traditional versus modern. You have to fight back and forth all the way across the board. That way people go, well, I'm against that. That's the only way it works. So you go to Mandela effect, is it real, not real, not real. And that's all you spend your time on is something about a dash coming out of a Kit Kat bar. You tell me what that has to do with anything that's going on, man. We're talking about higher concepts in this chat room and the board, and I hope people can get it. And much love to all y'all as we get to this 2-hour deal. Listen, folks. They've written it down, and it's part of the implied consent because they've put it out into the ether, into the universe that they're going to do this. Don't think that some guy accidentally wrote the book in the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. Don't think that some random copier had the book, the Silent Weapons for Client Wars, or just so happened the report from Iron Mountain leaked out too. These are put out there so people actually can deny what is happening before them. This is why all the white studies on 5G, which is RF frequency, they've known since the 40s that RF frequency causes cancer. Now, all of a sudden, all the scientists are retards and they don't know this. Come on, folks. They've known since the polio vaccine. And when they changed the polio, they said they cured polio through the vaccine. They now call it the Gear syndrome, right? They just changed the name. They've known since the 1800s that vaccines destroyed the health of people. Now, how can they do this unless they have a dumbed down, ignorant people?
Have you ever read a book? Have you ever read this book called Heroin, Diamonds, and Vaccines, or Heroin, Diamonds, and Oil? It talks all about the Bush family. It's a woman professor, and she wrote it, and it explains the polio vaccine and exactly what it was and how it didn't change. It didn't cure anything. They simply changed the name, and people fell for it, etc.
Yeah. I haven't read that book, but I know they changed what the polio was into another deal. They just said, "Oh, we cured polio, but look at this; it hopped over here." Can't remember the name, but the Gear syndrome or whatever it is. But they've done that throughout. Listen, man, you can go back to the Brady bunch back in the 70s when the Bradys, the whole family got the measles, right? And the kids are upstairs talking about how when they got the measles, this was the best sickness ever because they didn't get to have to go to school for 3 days and they didn't require a shot to get healthy. When I was a kid, you had to get chicken pox, you had to get measles. That was better for your immune system. Now all of a sudden, it's an epidemic that if somebody catches the measles, people are dying everywhere. It's ridiculous, the world that we live in. There's so much more to focus on than circular logic and circular reasons.
Really? Where do you find Big Sib? Seriously? I'm gonna look over here because I'm watching this on the live page, kinda, not really, but there's only one comment and it's by me, and the first thing it says is the Big Sib YouTube channel. Then there's a bunch of blue letters, and if I click on them, the Pharisees, there he is. Crazy times we live in. Technology. All right, guys, 2 hours is way too long for me. Richie from Boston, Brandon the Big Sib. You can find his website because it's called The Big Sib, and it's also linked directly under this video, which will be up as soon as it's over. Oh, don't forget to hit the super chat. I'm just kidding. This channel is completely de-effing monetized. Don't ever hit the super chat. It's just dumb. We'll say your name anyways if we can. Anything else, brother?
That's it, brother. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, I appreciate you coming on, man. I tried to get you and Nicholson and a bunch of heavy hitters on for tomorrow night so people would have something to do for Christmas Eve instead of whatever. But you can't make it. Dana Ashley said she can make it, I believe, but she's always 8 hours behind on communications because she's got her phone wrapped up in chicken wire and whatnot. She knows she can stop 5G.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would do it mobile, but she will be on, I believe. Tokamak, yeah, indeed. China's supposed to have theirs up in the next 7 days, which blows me away. Most dangerous thing a human could ever invent, and China's going to light one up. What could go wrong? At any rate, Brandon, thanks for your time. Everybody in the chat, Litecoin, Leo, Kevin Otto, The Truth Within Us, Tommy Smith, Kristen K. I ain't saying that name. Skis, yeah, that sounds creepy. Sorry. Blazer 71, Paul S, Sophia CM. Brandon, what do you got?
Yeah, I've got ESP Power here for news. Enoch, the Reluctant Messenger, Main Bear, Clint, JP Smart, Gooberstain, Jared Ritter, World Geom Unite. We're going to try to keep those keywords off. Irish Brother, Jennifer Cunningham, Highland Viking Beats. Hey, thank you guys all for coming. Main X, JP Smart. Hey guys, thank y'all. We'll see y'all this weekend.
Do yourself a huge favor, and if you've got nothing to do, go over to Brandon's YouTube channel and just listen. Just listen, because the stuff you're going to hear is amazing, and it'll make sense, and then you'll understand why they act like our Constitution isn't actually even a real piece of paper, because it isn't. Richie from Boston, Brandon the Big Sib. We are out.